The Badgers defense definitely showed up to play. But the passing game, man, that is MIA.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, Badger fans? Welcome to Locked On Badgers, your team every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you for being an everydayer. Today's episode brought to you by Mazda. Like every single player, Mazda sweats every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for this highlights for this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. Today's episode, Oregon game reaction, the good, the mid, the ugly, what's next, and then your thoughts in the chat. Gentlemen, Rajiv and Justin, we always start with the good, the mid, and the ugly. Justin, why don't you start this one off with the good?
Sure. Gideon Atuka showing the best patience and vision of any of the backs we've seen this year. Ran really hard. He was pretty solid in this. For a team that you're playing against in Oregon, who's actually a well-thought-of defense, I was not expecting him to run as well as he did in this game, absolutely. So I was impressed with him. You may have found a running back.
He looked really good. Listen, I got to go the other side of the ball. Mason Posa, Cooper Catalano are young, true freshmen.
I left that one.
True freshman linebackers playing on the road in Oregon against the top 10 team. 13 tackles for Mason Posa, 1 pass breakup. Cooper Catalano, 8 tackles, another pass breakup. I mean, yeah, those two guys are the future of our inside linebacking room. Hopefully, we got to keep them on the roster next year. But we've been high. You know how high I've been on Mason Posa since he was in high school. I think he's absolutely going to be a star. You saw more fight from those two linebackers than you could arguably see from many people on the team all season. Just unbelievable. I love that. I love the fact that we've got freshmen out there playing. And then Tackett Curtis comes in for a play and misses a tackle, gives up a touchdown. Like, this is who we need to start. Cooper Catalano and Mason Posa. Now that listen, I love Christian Allegro. He broke his arm. These two starting inside linebackers the rest of the year. Such great fight. Such great passion. Love what I saw to those guys.
Dude, I love it. I certainly would have gone that one. I knew you were heading there. Honestly, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I have just been so eager for a game that I could get into. I just have been desperate for a game that I could get into and I could cheer for and I could feel like there were stakes. That's my good. I got to be a fan today. I said it on a previous show. The last couple games, it has felt like a job to cover this team. It has felt like a chore. And we're going to get into moral victories and whatnot. We still lost. We still lost by 14. We're 7-21. But it was 7-0 at half. Like, I felt like a fan. I was engaged on third downs. I was swearing at the referees. Like, on every play, I was swearing at the referees because that was a god-awful refereeing crew, which we're going to get into, I promise you. But, dude, like, that's the good for me. Like, I was excited. My halftime short wasn't like, oh, here we go again. It was like 7-0. Let's go. You know, so Posa and Justin, Gideon Atuka, you're so right. Vision, but he also ran really friggin' hard. Like, he fell forward on every play. So, dude, I'm sorry if I'm fired up because I'm 7 IPAs. No, I'm not 7 in. I'm several in. And I'm drinking in October right now. But, dude, like, I just felt great being a fan again. And it felt like this team had fight. It felt like they cared. And that's all as fans we really want.
I really like I've always said this. I just want to put a little fear into the other team. We had fear into Oregon today, especially in that first half. Like, they were like, holy crap. Can we, like, what's going on? Where is this defense? Who are these guys? Where do they come from? And that's special, right? Like, we put a little fear into that other team. We actually played well. We actually made stops. 7 tackles for loss. Did we even have that many all last season? 7 tackles for loss in this game. Fantastic. Like, there's so many things on the defensive side of the ball to be excited about. I'm going to give you one more on the offensive side. Eugene Hilton sighting. Hello. How about this? He saw the ball and he made a play on the ball. Yeah. Gee, what a novel concept, wide receivers. Thank you. And I don't like to, we'll get another one stuff. But Eugene Hilton, really good. Yes, it was kind of a 500 ball up there. Yes, it was whatever, but he made the play, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And we got on the board. That's a good.
I almost feel like we shift to ugly. I almost don't want to do mids because I think there's some uglies we got to hit if you guys are good with that. This is kind of an audible I'm going to call.
Sure.
I'm just going to we'll reverse the order. So we'll go me, Rajiv, Justin. I think you got to start at quarterback, man. And 7-21, and it took a late rally from Hunter Simmons to get to 7-21. That's one of the worst quarterbacking performances I've ever seen in my life watching this sport. And I want to be really clear on something. I'm not mad at Hunter Simmons for this. He's not good enough for this. It's not on him. Like he's this. It's almost like if I put my kid behind the wheel of a car. He's 11 years old. It's like, hey, go drive to the grocery store. Well, he's going to hit somebody. I'm not going to get mad at him for doing that. He's not in a position to succeed if I ask him to do that. Hey, you got to make a switch. Whether it's Daniel Neal, Carter Smith, 7-21 is embarrassing for a Division I program in the Big Ten. So that's the bad. You can't win games with quarterback play like that, and it's just infuriating to watch, Rajiv.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on that one. I'm going to give you one more first, though. I thought in college football, replays are officiated. They're initiated from the booth. Now I know you can challenge. What the heck is going on with the booth? Who is actually reviewing these plays? Those refs were horrific. The announcers were just as bad. But why was that not a first down? Why do we have to use that challenge? He got to the 42-yard line. And then they still put us back on the 41. No. We got to the 42. If you need to remeasure, then remeasure. But don't put the ball back on the 41. You don't need a challenge to do that. Eugene Hilton should have a touchdown to his name. You also, why can't that? Then I love that about college football, actually. I liked it that all those things were reviewed from the booth. I was waiting for the whistle to blow and do something, but no, that never happened. So that's that. Let me just talk about the Hunter Simmons thing. He was 1 of 13 at one point in the game. Who was playing backup quarterback? Was it Daniel Neal? Was it Milos? Was it Carter? Whoever that person is needs to come in there and play. Your defense is actually doing something. Hunter Simmons literally could do nothing. This is the second year in a row now. We've been in a game with Oregon, and the only thing keeping us from winning that game is a quarterback. Inexcusable as far as I'm concerned to not make a change there. I was saying it in the Discord. I don't understand that. That's on the coaches. Make a change. I don't care who's playing backup. The guy that's starting is 1 of 13 and can do no worse.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and weigh in on that right away, too. It's like having Mike Samuels at quarterback again, except we don't have a running game that goes for 300 plus. Oh my God. It's just so consistently, anytime you see the ball snapped in a pass play, you just anticipate something bad happening, like a non-positive outcome almost every time. And it shows up with this. And that pick late was one of the worst picks I've seen. The guy was there and you just threw it so far out in front that he didn't even give him a chance. Oh man, I don't know. The offense is infuriating right now. The offensive line is getting better. The running game looks like it's improving. Quarterback is just a train wreck. And I don't know next year you're looking at what? Do you think anyone but Carter's here?
It's Carter's job to lose. But I've said this before. It's going to be Carter and a couple portal guys. They're absolutely going to go to the portal again because you have to. Even if you think Carter's the guy, they're going to want a veteran in there. I think Billy moves on. I think Hunter's going to move on. It's just one of those things too, man, where you get to a point and we don't know every machination behind the scenes. Obviously, we all kind of hear things. We talked to a few people here and there, but I have definitely heard that Daniel Neal is frustrated about losing the job, those type of things. I'm sorry, at some point, you just swallow the ego on both sides because you're cutting off your nose to spite your face at this point. So what if he was a little frustrated? And maybe he'd said something across the line. I don't know. I don't want to go there, but there also has to be something, right? Because there's no logical explanation for not making
Hunter's been unplayable.
It's unplayable. And there's no unless there must be something else behind the scenes. And if there's not, this is inexcusable.
After the Iowa game, they asked Luke that question, and he said they probably should have made a change. I'm hoping that someone asks him that question in today's post game. I'm very curious to see what he says because it has to be asked. In what world are you not making a change? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's backing up. It's insane. And he's going to have some answer. He's still going to be wrong, but we're kind of used to that by now.
Quick question before we hit break for all of you. Just kind of a quick answer. Justin, who's the starting quarterback against Washington?
If I had to take a shot in the dark, I think it might be Carter. I think you have 2 weeks to prep him for this. You've had nobody that's looked effective to this point. Hopefully you've seen enough growth from him and that you can consider playing him. But I think that would be the move that I would make. At least find out what you have. You're not playing for anything this season anymore.
I'm assuming there's no way that Billy's not healthy at this point after the bye. 2 more weeks. Billy Edwards, I should be the starting quarterback in my opinion. I want to see him. If he is not healthy though, then it's Carter Smith. It's one of those 2 guys. I would prefer it to be Billy because I see the next 4 games like a 4-game season, but I say Billy Edwards.
I think you guys are both dead on. I think my pecking order really quick, it's if healthy, it's Billy. If not, I want Carter Smith because you can maybe build something there. If not him, I want Danny O'Neal, who also has warts. We know that, but he can at least move with his legs a little bit. That's the pecking order. Coming out of the bye, that's the pecking order. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're coming back with, does this move the needle at all on maybe a more competitive than expected game against Oregon for Luke Fickle for this program? Does that do anything for the fan psyche, for the team psyche heading into the bye? That's coming up next, Locked On Badgers. Plus, as always, a segment with just your comments starred. We're going to get that as well. But first, a quick second for our friends of the show over at Mazda. Mazda moving the game forward. Mazda is absolutely incredible partner of our show. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. It's about moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, they move culture, they keep moving the game forward. This week's moment, this week's player that moved the game forward, I mean, Rajiv nailed it. It's got to be Mason Posa, right? You have a true freshman starting against the number 6 team in the country, 13 tackles, pass breakup on a screenplay, knocked the starting quarterback out on just a hard hit. Dude was everywhere, sideline to sideline. Mason Posa showing you all the talent that he has. And that dude gives an F. That dude is absolutely into this game and doing it for Wisconsin. It's important to him. You can tell with the way he played. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to every Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, Rajiv, coming out of the break here, I want to ask you, does this move the needle for you at all? I know you've kind of been out on Fickle. I know where the fan base is. What do you think?
It doesn't move the needle at all on Fickle for me. Not one bit. Still very much out on him. What it does do for me is give me a little bit of hope going into that last 4. Like I think we have a little mini season here. We've gone through the hardest part of our schedule. We finally scored a point. That's good. We've got 2 weeks. Our defense clearly is playing fairly well and can keep us in games against even top-notch offenses like Oregon. And if hopefully Billy plays or Carter plays, so if someone new plays quarterback and the defense is still there, Posa and Catalano are starting, it gives me a lot of hope about the llast 4. I'm not saying we're going to go 4-0. I want to win a couple of games. It'd be great. I want to win 1. I want to win 2. Like I want to have a little fun, like you mentioned, like enjoy watching the Badgers. That would be great. It's a 4-game season as far as I'm concerned. Let's go out there and play hard. Like I saw a lot of positivity in that first half today, and I want that to carry over. So yeah, it moves the needle for how excited I am going to the last 4. Doesn't move the needle even an inch for me on Luke Fickle.
What do you think, Justin?
It doesn't change anything with Fickle for me. And I'll be honest, I don't take anything away from this game simply because I have no idea what to expect week to week from this team in terms of effort level. They looked better against Michigan too, and then the next week they got blown out 37-0. So it's really hard for me to look at it and say this is a step in the right direction because there's a really good chance that next week we have or when they come out of the bye, they have a letdown game, and it's like I don't know. Like, there's nothing that they've shown me from a consistency standpoint that I can look at it. It was nice to see, I will say, in this game, the defense was honestly pretty good. But the fact that we are getting excited over 7 points being scored in a game is kind of ludicrous, in my opinion, from the big picture standpoint. Like, I get it. We feel better because the streak ended. But the fact that we are so, like, happy over something so minimum is almost like we need to stop. I don't want any of us to start to lose our resolve simply because the ridiculousness kind of disappeared.
I think it's fair. I think to me, it's not the 7. It's the fact that you only gave up 21. I think it's a 14-point game that was 7-0 at halftime. I agree with you. I don't think we should be shooting out fireworks because we scored 7 points. I don't think it moves the needle for me, but I think it raises like an eyebrow, right? It's like, that was interesting. Because I think a couple things to me are pretty clear when you watch this game today. And that announcing crew was pretty horrific, by the way. They were so bad. Along with the refs, it was unwatchable. But one thing they said that I think is pretty clearly true, this team hasn't quit. I mean, it would be so easy to quit. You're going to Autzen. It's in the rain. You're coming off this stretch of games where you've had your brains beaten in. The fan base is mostly turned on this program. it's very clear that this team didn't quit. Like
they played hard the whole game.
To me, that's been a question. Like people have said, Fickle's lost the locker room. People have quit on him. Well, they haven't, because I'm telling you right now, you don't lose by 14 to Oregon and Autzen if you've quit. So I think there are things here to me that made me say, okay. I mean, and the other thing I'd say is there's a chance, and I don't know if this is true, Rajiv or Justin, and please tell me if I'm just being overly optimistic on this coaching stuff, but there's a chance Daniel O'Neal, maybe he has kind of quit on the team, and Carter Smith is already talking transfer. I don't know. Maybe all they have is truly Hunter Simmons.
That could very well be. I mean, I honestly have no grasp on this, and I don't think that anything's really being put out there with what's going on. I don't think something like that probably would be put out for public consumption regardless, but it's really like we look at some of the moves and things that are going on with the team, and it's like you almost have questions where you're like, what the heck is going on here? Obviously with running back, we didn't need clarity. You could just tell guys are hurt. It stinks that our running back room is so banged up. Came into the season thinking that we had 4 guys, and now we're on the 4th one.
I mean, Bortolini was out there today.
Yeah, Bortolotti, you mean?
Bortolotti, sorry, yeah.
Bortolini's playing.
We would gladly take Bortolini.
Actually, I think the offense was better today, but yes. Sorry.
Yeah, so one of the things about the whole, like your comment about Daniel O'Neal potentially quitting on them, I agree that the players haven't quit on them. The players that are playing haven't quit on them, and I give Luke Fickle and his coaching staff credit for putting guys on the field that are going to play, right? So, I mean, you've seen a certain linebacker that didn't play today. You've seen other positions potentially not play. You've seen quarterbacks. Like, I'm fine, and I appreciate putting guys out there that are going to play. That's good. That's a good sign for the coaching staff, and it's a good sign for the players on the field. It's never going to hurt you to be out there. Even if you do want to transfer away, you can put better stuff on film anyway. So I'm totally good with that. And if Daniel O'Neal has quit, then fine, don't play him. Like, but I'm perfectly fine with keeping people off the field that are just they're not getting it in practice. And the coaches know that. We certainly don't. So I'm as long as we're playing the guys that are fighting, which, by the way, you could see today, you could clearly see that the guys that were out there were busting their butt. And that's all we want to see. Why are we a little bit excited on this podcast? Because we saw people who wanted to play. We were never going to beat Oregon. We all know that. So even before the season, we were never going to win this game. Even when we had everyone healthy, we were never going to win this game. But we fought, and it gives us, at least gives me, something to look forward to in 2 weeks when we're back on the field. And I appreciate that. I really do.
Let me ask you guys this question, because this came to me I don't know if you guys thought of this either. Last year, we talked a lot about why isn't Allegro playing when some of these other linebackers aren't playing very well? We talked about that with some pass rushers as well. Did you get the question in your head today, well, where's Gideon Atuka been? And where has Mason Posa been? You're not going to convince me that Mason Posa suddenly at this point of the season became this good. Why wasn't he in here earlier? And why wasn't Gideon Atuka playing earlier?
Do you ever get the sense with this staff, they have their list based off of what they had coming in, and that's kind of the order that they have them? And whatever's happening in practice just doesn't really matter? Or does this staff potentially care too much about promises and stuff like that they gave guys? Because the reality kind of is, if Atuka's the best running back, I want Atuka playing. I don't care if it means the other guys might leave. You still want the best. What would happen? You just let Atuka leave if he's the guy that looks best in practice because you made promises to guys who are performing at a lower level? Like, I don't get the logic. Like, I don't care. Just whoever's the best player, play him. And if somebody's going to leave, so be it.
Sorry. What I would say to that is I think Posa, I agree with you, should have had more reps, 100%. The thing about Atuka, look, he looked great today, and I'm not taking anything away from Atuka. What he should have gotten was more reps. I don't necessarily think he's better than Dylan Jones or Darian Dupree. I think that our line has gotten better throughout the season, which I've said multiple times. Like, now we've had the same line for a while. So I think if a healthy Dylan Jones tonight, I think has a solid game. I'm not taking anything away from Atuka. He had a fantastic game. He played hard. He deserved to have more reps early in the season. He definitely deserves reps going forward. He should be our feature back, of course. But I don't necessarily think that he should have been out there over Jones and Dupree. I think the line play was pretty poor early. But Posa, that to me is very clear. He absolutely should have been out there the whole time. And Catalano, like, they needed more reps.
Yeah, I think Atuka really surprised me with his vision, and I think that's maybe something we've talked about with some of the other backs. Atuka had some nice plays where he's found a hole. He wasn't just blocked for him; he found it. Now, I think you're also correct in that the offensive line has progressively. By the way, this is an offensive line with Renfro's not playing. Again, you're down that spot. Can we maybe finally say maybe we just move on like from Renfro again? Like
yes. I'm tired of dealing with him consistently being in and out. It puts the line in flux. Heinzen is actually doing a solid job on the interior. Just let's quit messing with it. Like, I just want some consistency here. If you want Renfro as the backup for the rest of the year, fine. I'm okay with that. But put somebody in there that's going to play every week.
Yeah, I'm not. I disagree with this a little bit. I still want the best players to play. If he's healthy, he's our best center. To me, I don't really believe that's a debatable point. Maybe it is, and if you disagree, that's okay. If he's healthy, I want him in there, and if he's healthy, if Billy's healthy and he's healthy, I'd like them both in there for the last 4 games because I want to win every one of those games. We're not going to, but I'd like to. But that being said, I also am totally okay if you put Heinzen out there or Corey, because they have played well and that line deserves that. So I'm okay with it either way, but I'm still perfectly happy with seeing Renfro play if he's healthy.
I get that. By the way, Neza says, let's start Joka on the offensive line.
I'd be like Billy Bob on.
Let's do it.
Having the concussion issue.
I just think this Rajiv, man, like that's the best offensive line running performance we've seen all year. I think there's an argument to say, let's maybe not mess with that. Let's build on that. And so,
I could definitely hear that argument. I'm not gonna complain if that's what happened. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
He did have the longest run of the year for a running back.
18 yards, I think, right?
Yep.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Do you know how many 20-plus yard runs Melvin Gordon had his 2014 season? Again, that's Melvin Gordon.
Probably 14 or 15, I'm guessing.
I think it was 20-something. I had a buddy text me the stats. It's unbelievable. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. Come back with your comments. We have a bunch of starred comments, roundtable on your thoughts, because that's what this show is all about, the community. We're going to get your take next on Locked On Badgers. But first, a quick second for our friends of the show over at DoorDash. DoorDash, the incredible partner that's going to bring food to you, right? You build up streaks. You can save up more money every single Saturday with DoorDash Streaks. What an incredible offer for people like me who can't cook that much, but would like to get some food delivered. Let's also talk about a player that delivered with us. We talked a lot about Mason Posa, deservedly so. Let's talk about his running mate, Cooper Catalano, who early in the game, sideline to sideline, tracked down the quarterback. Dante Moore also had a big pop in the middle. He also looked the part. You have 2 freshman linebackers that could grow and build together. Cooper Catalano absolutely delivered, just like DoorDash delivers for you. DoorDash delivers every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, so you can save more and more money the more you order. Stack it up all season. You can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms to apply. Promo period through 11/18. Today's episode also brought to you by our great friends over at FanDuel. FanDuel is an awesome new offer. If you bet $5, you get $300 in bonus bets if your new bet hits. And I know Rajiv loves all the different types of betting options that you can get on the FanDuel platform.
So much to do, so many things you can do, and it makes every game more exciting. Like, even if you're not really a fan of either of those teams, if you bet on the game, you're a big fan of one of those teams, which is fantastic. It's not just about the game. You can do that. You can do money line, you can parlay and player props, and you can tease certain things. There's just so many options. You can parlay them together. It makes every game more exciting. And honestly, what better place to do it than FanDuel? The user interface is fantastic. The offer right now is fantastic, and there's so many ways to make good money. Let's do it.
So what are you waiting for? Go to FanDuel.com, download the app, get started today over on FanDuel. All right, let's get into this roundtable around with some of your thoughts, your questions, your starred comments. Let's get to the first one here. Jake just says, I'm talking crap when Ryan goes live. I love it, Jake. I don't know what you're talking crap about, but let's get it. Let's hear it. Bo Dragon, Justin, could Carter Smith be worse?
I mean, I suppose it's possible, but it seems unlikely. I think it's important for him at this point to get a kind of feel for what this is. And I think, like, by now he's not a freshman anymore. We're 2/3 of the way through the season. He should be comfortable enough with the speed of the college game that, yeah, he's not going to be perfect, but I do think that he should be getting to the point where he's playable.
That's fair. Let's keep going here. Rajiv, sorry. Joe says, I saw improvement from the offense. We scored. Defense is very good. They got tired after being shut out. It was very good to have Wisconsin score again. Just in general, the overall improvement you saw.
So much improvement. And listen, I will say this. I have been very critical of the coaching staff. So I will give the coaching staff credit for getting these guys to play that they would play the way they did today. I'm not going to take that away. I will be fair and honest about that. Like, I give Luke Fickle credit. I give Mike Tressel credit. Really good calling on the defense, like good play calling, way to be aggressive. I think ultimately it's about playing the guys that want to play. And yeah, it's momentum. Let's build from this. It's great that we did this. You have 2 weeks to get healthy and to put 4 games out there that are going to make Badger fans proud. Let's get that done.
Love it. Leo says, didn't Ryan like Simmons from spring ball? I liked him in the sense I said he's kind of pushing Danny O'Neal for the number 2 spot. Not in the sense of I want him going into Otson to try to win a game on the road against a really good defense. Like, there was no, like, I think Hunter Simmons might be a sneaky starter campaign from Ryan Herrings. I promise you that. But I did think he had a decent arm. So I didn't hate him in camp. Okay, let's go here. Justin, your turn again. Talk a little bit about the refs. They didn't review the Hilton catch, the multiple spotting issues. Thoughts on the refs today?
I mean, they're just not good. Like this, it's so hard because I never want to lean on referee. And I'm not saying that that's any excuse for Wisconsin whatsoever in this game. But when you have an offense and a defense that's struggling so much like this, those things just are such big killers when you're just looking for anything that can possibly go right. And you feel like it gets taken from you when things are going so poorly. So losing a first down because of a bad spot or, some of the other stuff, it's like, come on. Like, we're already beating ourselves. Can you just not pile on? We're looking for whatever we can to have a positive thing go right for this team to hopefully get them moving in the right direction.
Well, and especially when you can review it. You can't get stuff wrong when you can review it. It's inexcusable. Rajiv from Shea Griffin, do we owe Braden Locke an apology?
No, but
sure?
I will say, no, we don't. But I would say that if he was on this team right now, would I want him playing? Probably, well, definitely over Hunter Simmons. But no, I mean, he wasn't good. We haven't had a good we've lost our starting quarterback the last 3 years. Our quarterback play just isn't there. And had we had good quarterback play at any point in the last 3 years, we'd be in a far better shape. Tanner Mordecai was the best guy that we've seen and someone who played the most out of all the guys that we've seen in the last 3 years. Luke Fickle era, he's been the best. Ever since then, all we've had is a bunch of injuries and backups that can't play. Sorry, we don't owe you an apology.
Amcon says that was a great moral victory. So moral victory is always like, I don't even really like the term. Like, there's no victory in losing, right? But I almost, if you could rephrase this term into nice progress. And I think that's where I'm at. Like, it's not a moral victory because you don't get victory. I'm not going to celebrate a loss, guys, but I feel way better coming out of this than 37-0 Iowa and 34-0 Ohio State. I just do. So to me, it's progress. And that is what I think I started the show excited about, because I do think that matters. It matters for a lot of reasons, by the way. It matters for the players on the team currently who have to practice every day and read press clippings every day. Like this, it matters that you move forward, which is literally the motto with the state of Wisconsin. So moral victory, no, but progress, yes. And progress is good.
Anything to give us a little bit of hope as the season progresses. That's what I'm looking for. Justin,
next question up here, our next comment. This is just says Grimes sucks. It's not the quarterback. Where do you separate Grimes and the quarterback play here?
I mean, Grimes isn't capable of going out there and throwing the football. There were numerous misses in this game by Simmons. That plays were there. I'm not saying that Grimes has been good. I'm not saying that he deserves a pass for this. Nothing has been good enough in this. I am shocked that we're struggling so much with running the football, and it's taking this long to kind of get things right with a GM, or an OC who is thought to be a offensive line guru. So this season has really been frustrating to watch. And the play calling at times has been really rough too. Like we've talked about that. I don't think that he deserves to keep his job if something were to happen to Fickle in this. Like, I would say wash it out. It's not like I'm advocating for us to keep him. I do like the scheme though. And I do think the scheme is a fit for Wisconsin. We can argue about how it's being run, but I don't see any problem with what the actual identity and everything is that's associated with it. We're just not executing it.
Justin, I like this. Or Rajiv, sorry, I like this question. Running with Jason, what has been the best game so far this season?
Middle Tennessee State second half. I mean, I feel like that's really, and I think you could argue that I would say offensively, second half Middle Tennessee State, defensively, first half of this game. I mean, I feel like that's it. I feel like today's defense was the best our defense has played all season. But yeah, man, Middle Tennessee State second half, we at least scored some points.
Let's see. M. Joseph. Yeah, you guys were wrong saying players quit earlier in this year. And again, we love any type of disagreement. So if you base on something, throw it up there, please. I do think some players have quit or given less than ideal effort this season. I think, to me, that's a fair statement. But they didn't quit today, and some of the younger players are playing hard. And maybe that's the evolution of this staff, is filtering out who's quitting and playing hard. I don't think we're completely – I'll speak for myself. I'll let you guys actually answer this one because this is kind of addressed to all of us. I don't think I was completely wrong in saying some players gave up in some of those games this year.
I don't disagree with you at all on that. I think there definitely were. Heck, we've rewatched some of these things and seen the issues where there were efforts at time in those games. That does not mean that they consistently just don't give effort. I thought they played hard today. And yeah, if you kept going in this game, we probably end up losing by 2 more scores. But, it was a step in the right direction. But games like Iowa, where they got down on themselves early and just basically gave in, like that was this team not playing, like caring anymore. They were bad in the second half of that game.
Were there games where certain players look like they quit? Yes, I still stand by that. I've never said that he's lost the locker room. I think Luke Fickle should be replaced as head coach. I will stay consistent with that. I've always said that. I don't think he's good for this school. But I do think that it would affect the locker room if he left. I think that there are people that want him to stay there, and that's fine. People can have their opinion. I still want him to go, but have players quit a little bit? Sure. But yeah, it's put the young players out there who want to play. But I've never said that I think he's lost the locker room. I don't necessarily believe that. I mean, we have no idea. We are not in that locker room. But all I can say from my perspective as a fan is, what am I seeing from the coaching? And I haven't liked that. I haven't liked that at all.
Let's go here. Because we're about 32 minutes, so we're running a tick long. These shows always go a little longer anyway. Anything, Rajiv or Justin, and there's a few more comments I want to get to, but I want to give you an opportunity, anything that hasn't got brought up that either of you want to hit on. Player, moment, anything at all. Rajiv, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so a couple things. One is I wanted to just do the Grimes thing. I didn't really appreciate, there were a couple times where the first half, Hunter Simmons was just, they were immediately moving the pocket. He was taking the ball, running straight right, eliminating half the field. I understand that helps with the pressure, but I would rather the quarterback sit in the pocket and make a play from there rather than having to throw across his body. And then, it never seemed to work out. The other thing I would talk about is the fake punt.
Yes.
Because that's come up. And look, like, there were times, obviously, back in the Brett Bielema days where he was ruthless, and I didn't have a problem with that back then. I probably did a little bit, but ultimately, Dan Lanning did not need to do that fake punt. You want to look, the onside kick to start. Of course, I hated that, but fine. That's a good play. That's well designed. That's smart. But really, you're up 21. You're up 21-7 on a team that has had zero offense except one, Hail Mary type pass to Eugene Hilton. Like, you didn't need to do that. You could have put him deep. I just feel like Dan Lanning tries to rub salt in the wounds a little bit too much. Now, look, we're on the other side of that right now, so it's easy for us to say that when we're the Dan Lannings of the world. We're easy to say, just stop it. I get that. I hear the argument, but I didn't like that, and I don't think it was necessary.
I definitely want to jump in on that because that pissed me off. Straight up. That's about as R-rated as I get on this show. That pissed me off. It's 21-7. There's no timeouts left. We've thrown the ball for like 30 yards. We haven't scored in, dude, we're not winning this game. All you're doing at this point is trying to make yourself look cool in front of your home crowd and like rub salt in the wound. There are ways to win and lose games. There's ways to win and lose in games, and there's ways to win and lose in life. And I've coached, I've played, like I've been on ends of beatdowns, and I've been on the good end of beatdowns. That was Bush League. That was 100% Bush League. Like, and you knew you were going to get it, and you were just trying to, I don't even know, like run up to score a little bit, make yourself look good. Dude, that was unnecessary. And yes, I get the argument, well, you got to stop it anyway. We should have stopped it anyway. I'm not dismissing that part of it, but that was Bush League. Paul Chris wouldn't do that. Jim Leonard wouldn't do that. Guys with class wouldn't do that. And I'm sorry if I'm a little ticked off about it. Maybe I'm taking that too personally, but I thought that was classless and unnecessary. The game was over. It was won.
Especially because there was no timeouts left. That's the big key. If we had 3 timeouts, there were no timeouts left. Like, what are you going to do? Justin, what do you think about that? I'm curious what your thoughts were on that.
I don't really care one way or the other. When it's a guy like Lanning, I just assume that it's in play because that's the way he plays the game. To be quite fair, it's a little bit like Signetti, where he's just going to keep playing until the end of the game. So it's just who he is as a coach. I don't care, but I can understand why you guys feel that way about it. So I can appreciate being irritated because it does feel like you're just trying to almost hit the spread for the game when stuff like that happens. It's like, dude, you could just kneel this out. Let's just get this over with. And you start doing stuff like that. My thing I wanted to bring up was I saw it tagged a couple of times, the Brando remarks. And I find it so, and Ryan, you've worked inside the big machine.
No, a little bit, but
no, you understand where I'm going to go with this. I never want to hear some type of national broadcaster ever sit there and tell podcasters that follow the team closely and religiously that they don't know what they're talking about when he comes in and he preps for something for 3 days and talks to only people associated with the team. So piss off, dude. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just trying to make it look bad because you disagree with whatever comment it was.
I love how he talked about Tretch as our go-to receiver. You know, like I'm not worried about his take because he clearly doesn't have a clue.
Yeah,
I will.
And I look at it.
I will continue to say that the people that know the most about the program are the people that watch it the most, or the people that are listening to this right now, like the fans. We live and breathe. Coaches come and go, players come and go, announcers come and go. Fans don't. Fans don't ever leave. Fans are the ones that are always here. We're the ones that can talk about it. All the people that are on here, all the people that comment and that we meet, like these are the people that know the most. And listen, he was such a bad announcer. He was the most unprepared person out there of anyone. So totally don't care about your take. I did see Tyler's comment up there. I think it's fair. And yeah, I mean, hey, you know what? It's nice that it's mentioned nowadays. This is a couple weeks in a row that that podcasts have been mentioned on the Badger broadcast.
Derivatively, but or derogatorily, whatever. But yeah, I want to hit this too. And you guys can definitely chime on this if you want. But Badger fan BTM says, "Wild how you have all become so negative."
I don't think we're negative.
Well, I was just gonna say we're covering a 2-6 football team. I would say this for people too, like. I don't think people realize some of the flack I get for being too positive. I'll just be straight up. People want me to come on the show and say fire Fickle. And if I did that as a thumbnail, I'd get 1,000 clicks. It's hard to be positive when you do a show every day and the majority of the fan base is not positive. Yeah. I just want people to understand that. Like I'm a very positive guy in general. And even on this show, if you compare and contrast even your show as well, guys, like some of the shows I'll do versus some of what's on social media or on other shows, I'm much more positive. But please try doing this. And this isn't me clapping back at this comment. Like I have become more negative, but please try doing this every day for a team that's been really bad. And then engaging with a fan base that's really negative. It's not easy is all I'd say. And I probably don't do it perfectly. It's hard.
Yeah. And I'll say this. I think we've been fair. I don't think like there hasn't been a lot of good. And I'm not going to sit here and say, a guy has one good play throughout the entire game and just, sit there and latch onto that. This team isn't playing good football. Like I feel like we're being like, I know I'm passionate about some of this stuff, but I do feel like I'm normally pretty objective when I'm looking at something in terms of what I'm seeing. Am I right all the time? Absolutely not. But what I've been watching is a team that is really struggling for consistency and effort. And maybe some of the changes that have been made are sending us in a positive direction with guys like Posa and Catalano playing more. And I think that's what you're looking for right now. I think we're looking at a team with a lot of upheaval where they're looking for pieces that fit the right spots. And we're kind of seeing it in real time and objectively kind of trying to be like, yeah, this isn't working. This is a positive. This is a negative. Like there's been things that we pointed out in this game that we thought went well. We ended up losing 21-7. There's not a lot of good that we're going to look at and say, and we threw for 86 yards. So it's really hard to sit here and look for these massive positive things.
I had a comment up there from Brian Axis that I thought was great. It was just, it's about being honest and being genuine. And I wear my fandom on my sleeve. And so my positivity and negativity is basically what I'm feeling about the Badgers right now. And I am a positive, optimistic fan. I always want to believe we can do well, which is why I'm excited about the last 4 games of the season. I'm excited about what this team can actually put together. Do I think we're going to win them? No, but I'm positive about it. But when you see the output of what we've done, and you see the coaching, and you see the things that we've been forced to watch and see and talk about, like, it's pretty bad. When you're in every respectable power ranking of the Big Ten, we are 18th, and we should be. I mean, that's pretty sad state of affairs. And you want positivity? Basketball's coming up, baby. Let's go.
It looked really good last night.
Yeah, there's definitely flashes there that I like. A couple other quick questions or thoughts I saw come up. The first one, Justin, we'll kick it to you. Rajiv, you're next. Justin, why can't this defense force more turnovers?
I think right now some of it is a confidence issue, and you create your own luck. You very easily could have had a pick by Agard. Honestly, our corner, like our secondary, really isn't covering that great this year, which is part of it. That's a big factor in terms of you're not forcing tight windows for quarterbacks, which is leading to a lot of easy completions. But when we do get opportunities like the Agard situation, you've got to make the most of them, and you've got to take care of that, because, as they say, they're contagious. If you get one, suddenly people start to have a little bit more belief, and that tends to lead to more of them.
Rajiv, a question came up, and I don't have it in front of me, but safety play. A lot was expected of Austin Brown this year. I think we missed Preston Zachman way more than even we had realized, and we especially you were super high on Preston Zachman. But Matt Young has not been very good. Austin Brown has been mostly invisible, and when he is visible, it's usually missing tackles. Thoughts on the safety play?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the reason Austin Brown has not been as good is because Zachman's not there, and Austin Brown is forced to be the dominant safety, and he has missed tackles, no doubt about it. But I mean, yeah, I've been high on Zachman for years. He was one of my favorite players on this team. He's the leader of the defense, and I think we are infinitely better if Zachman plays. But really, it's the depth. I mean, I'm fine with Brown. He's not perfect, but I'm fine with him out there. It's a young trainer. Like it's the depth behind Zachman and Brown where we have the issues on this roster, and we take for granted that we had a guy like Hunter Wohler for so long who was incredible, who's now going to be incredible for my Indianapolis Colts after he comes back from a season-long injury. But that's a big deal. And you lose it if Zachman comes out. Here's another guy. If Zachman comes back for the last 4, I'm just saying there is potential here, guys. Get excited about it.
I'm excited for the Final Four. I'm with you on that. I actually think this team desperately needs this bye week, get healthy, take a breath, step away from the ledge, and then, okay, we got 4 games against tough teams, but let's reset.
And win that axe. Did you see what happened in Minnesota today against Iowa? Boy, they got beat worse than we did. Let's go.
Absolutely did. Let's finish up here, guys, because we're at 42 minutes. I don't want to keep people forever for sure, and we try to keep this really kind of clean and moving forward. We're going to do last thoughts on this game, team heading into the bye, but I also want to quickly first thoughts, first impressions on basketball. So basketball scrimmage against Oklahoma. I did kind of a quick reaction show. We got 700 people in here, so this will be kind of fun. Rajiv, start with you on this one. First impressions.
Yeah, so first of all, I will say this. I love the fact that we played that game, okay? Because when you play a real opponent like that, you're so used to playing just your own guys in practice. So, Nolan Winter was a 5 who was going to play tough on the inside. Well, he learned something last night. He learned that he needs to be a hell of a lot better if he wants to play on the inside like that, because he got abused pretty bad. He had a very bad game. But I think this can only help him, right? Like, you can see the fact that now he can learn from this, playing a real team, a team that's probably maybe a tournament team early in the season. Now you can immediately make those changes before the season starts. Nick Boyd and John Blackwell are going to be a powerful duo, man. Really, really powerful duo. And Austin Rapp is better than apparently he goes by Ozzy in the locker room. He was better than I thought he was. And I think that overall, like, we've got a lot of talent on this team, a lot of talent. Depth, we'll see. We'll see what the rotation ends up looking like. But I think Boyd, as straight line drive, super good scorer, like, he is going to be really interesting to watch. And I continue to think this team's going to be really good offensively. But boy, can we cover a little bit more on the perimeter to not allow so many open threes?
Yeah, I honestly thought that Oklahoma just shot the ball pretty well last night. Like, some of those looks were tough. I don't think the defense was particularly bad, other than in transition, it was kind of terrible. They did a bad job of cutting off pressure to the rim. I will say, I really thought Austin Rapp looked great last night. He looks stronger. He looks more athletic than I remember watching in his film from last year. So I think the added strength is helping him. Obviously, he's not overly physical. He's a guy who's more of like a stretch four. But yeah, the biggest thing I took away when Winter gets it together, which I think he will, and once you get Boyd to settle down a little bit with this team, because some of the decision making I think needs to be cleaned up with him. But if those things happen, I think you have a really formidable offense, because I do think you have a guard that's really hard to stay in front of, who can get downhill for those times when you're not necessarily shooting perfect. And you have a lot of shooting on the perimeter that I do think will get better. And Rhodey can really pass, but he's got to be a little careful with some of those shots or passes that he tries to rip off, because he's a guy who could end up having some turnovers in a big moment trying to make something happen.
Mm-hmm. He tries to thread the needle for sure, Rhodey. Yeah, I think both good things for both of you guys. I would just really quickly add, I think a lot of the pieces to the engine are there. They're just not all fully operating together. Boyd took too many threes, but I think he's kind of feeling this out. When he gets into a little bit more of a downhill distribution phase, I think it's going to be really, really tough for teams to stop us. Defensively, still a few too many straight line drives, and there's some perimeter defensive issues that you can see when Austin Rapp, who's going to be forced to cover athletic stretch forwards, he doesn't really want to close out on those guys from Oklahoma because he knows they can drive them. There's going to be some defensive issues. And the other thing I'd say is strap in, Badger fans, because they're going to shoot a lot of shots. And some nights they're going to shoot the teams out of the gym. And some nights they're going to shoot like 30% like they did against Oklahoma. And it's going to look kind of ugly at times. And I'm just going to say it, Badger fans, you're going to have to accept the good and the bad with it. I'll just say that. They're not going to go inside as much as people want.
We didn't shoot well, and we scored 80 over 80 last night. So that should tell you all you need to know.
Guys, we'll wrap it up there with this question. And before we do, everybody in the chat, we got 670 people in here, which is just on the YouTube side. So that's amazing, incredible. As always, incredibly grateful and humbled. Thank you. From the bottom, I think all of our hearts, thank you so much. Please give thanks to Mike. Mike is behind the scenes on these shows. He is the one putting up comments, which allows us to be more engaged in the conversation. The fact that I'm not constantly looking over to the side is because Mike is literally donating his time. I should probably pay him, actually, but I don't. Maybe I will someday. He's literally donating his time to make this better, and making this better is part of the goal of making it better to be a Badger fan. So please, thanks to Mike, as always, for donating time. Guys, we're going to get out of here on this question from TG. Predict the record last 4 games. Justin, record last 4 games.
I'm going to say 0-4, but I think they might be able to push.
Rajiv is shaking his head.
Teams. With this offense, we put up 7 points in the last 3 weeks.
I'm going to believe 2-2. I recognize that people want to have your opinions. That's okay. I'm going to say 2-2. I'm going to say we're going to get either Washington or Illinois, and we're going to get the Gophers, because blank the Gophers. And you know what? Like, I want that game. They looked like crap today. We can get that. But my 2-2 depends on a different quarterback playing quarterback. If Hunter Simmons is the quarterback in the last 4 games, we will go 0-4. That's it.
Doc says that's the Justin I know. That's right. That's the Justin we know and love. 0-4, burn it to the ground. The fields will burn.
I don't want it to be that way. I'm just saying
you watch out, Sonny. Illinois is going down. You guys don't look very good.
Sonny's a great dude, man. He's locked on Illinois. Please go check out his work as well. Phenomenal human being. I think it's 1-3. I do think we beat Minnesota, and I think there's a chance you trip up Washington. Washington's super talented, but coming across the coast, there's a chance. I think you could trip up Illinois. I think we all know what's likely to happen when we play the Hoosiers, but I'm going to go 1-3. I think they get the axe. And as bad as the season would be, that would still be a really fun blip in the middle of this season. So on Wisconsin, Rajiv, Justin, go check out their work. As always, Bucky Report, thank you for being here for this show. Bunch of content coming up as always, and we will definitely talk to you later.